How to be a better listener. Listening can feel at times like a lost art, maybe because we are communicating so much electronically. That's too bad, because being a good listener can help you in every aspect of your life, with family and friends, and with your colleagues at work. So do you want to improve your listening skills or listening ability? So here are some tips from an experienced journalist. He has collected this over 30 years. His name is Adam Brandt. Be fully present. So we have two lists of do's and don'ts. Clear your do's, clear your mind, turn off your phone or put it away, turn away from screens and monitors, then don'ts, do not check email, plan your answers in advance, multitask, think about your upcoming schedule. So these are don'ts, what not to do. Distracted listening. You know this feeling. You are talking to someone and you can tell from their body language and distant look in their eye that the person is not really listening to you, is not really present. And you realize they are more interested in an audience than a conversation. That means they are interested that you listen to them. So they are simply waiting for you that they can talk. Distracted listening may not be as dangerous as distracted driving, but it is a big problem. Our mobile phones, or as they say in the United States, cell phones, are constantly tugging at our attention, pulling our brains out of the moment, and we are asking ourselves, who is reaching out to me and what they want? Who is reaching out to me through the phone? And this is creating like a shift in the conversation. So the other person, consciously or subconsciously, they know you are not present, you are tuned out. Now the same things happens on phone calls. You can almost always tell if someone is checking their email or doing something else when you are talking to them. For example, there is some pauses in their responses because they are looking at something else. Then the next one is clear your mind. Many of the 500 leaders that were interviewed for New York Times shared memorable stories and smart insights about the importance of listening, a lesson that many of them said they learned the hard way. Think of listening as a form of meditation. You have to clear your mind of everything else, so you can focus entirely on what the other person is saying. Make sure your phone is off or away from you. If you're at your desk, turn off your monitor or turn your chair around so you're not distracted by the screen. Try to focus fully on the other person, pushing away the thoughts about the next meeting you have to go to or a looming deadline. When you have a conversation with somebody, you are not going to get the nuances of the conversation if you are doing too many things, said Michael Mathieu, now the CEO of Be Alive Media. If somebody picks up the phone, stop your email, stop what you are doing, listen and have that conversation with the person and then move on. I try to be present so I can enjoy the richness and quality of interactions with people. Most people can't multitask without losing something in each of those tasks. The improve approach. If meditation isn't your thing, use this trick. Pretend you're doing improve and that you can only react in the moment to what the other person is saying, rather than planning out the next 3 steps in the conversation. Mark Fuller, the CEO of Wet Design, which makes elaborate fountain installations like the one in front of the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas, hired an improv instructor at his company to help everyone be better listeners. This is Mr. Fuller's logic. Improv, if properly taught, is really about listening to the other person because there is no script. It's about responding. If you think about it, if you have an argument with your wife or husband, most of the time people are just waiting for the other person to finish so they can say what they are waiting to say. So usually they are these serial machine gun monologues and very little listening. That doesn't work in improv. If we are on the stage, I don't know what goofball thing you are going to say, so I can't be planning anything. I have to really be listening to you so I can make an intelligence, humorous or not, response. The best kind of listening is about being comfortable, not knowing what you are going to say next, or what question you might ask. Trust that you will think of something in the moment based on what the other person just said. That will send a powerful signal to the other person that you are truly listening to them. No judgments or agendas. Do's: be empathetic. Know why you are talking. Be grounded. Don'ts: judge, brag, bring an agenda. Listening, done well, is an act of empathy. You are trying to see the world through another person's eyes and to understand their emotions. That's not going to happen if you are judging the other person as they are talking. It will dampen the conversation because you will be sending all sorts of subtle non-verbal cues that you have an opinion about what they are saying. If you go into the discussion with the main goal of understanding their perspective, free of any judgment, people will open up to you because they will feel they can trust you to respect what they are saying. Question your motivation. So the first step is to listen with no judgments. And when you do talk, be honest with yourself about what's really motivating you to say what you're about to say. There is a useful acronym to keep in mind when you are talking to someone. WAIT, W-A-I-T, which stands for Why Am I Talking? That's not to say that you shouldn't contribute to the conversation. It's just a good reminder to be self-aware of why you are talking. Is it about the other person, to show them that you understand what they are saying, because maybe you've had a similar experience? Or is there subtext of needing to brag a bit? It's a particularly good rule to keep in mind for anybody in a management or leadership position, because anything you say can quickly overwhelm a discussion and make people shut down. But it's true for everyone as well. You can have an agenda. Joel Peterson, the chairman of JetBlue Airways and founder of Peterson Partners, an investment firm, told me. When you have your own agenda, when you are listening to someone, what you are doing is you are formulating your response rather than processing what the other person is saying. You have to really be at home with yourself. If you have these driving needs to show off or be heard or whatever, then that kind of overwhelms the process. If you are really grounded and at home with yourself, then you can actually get in the other person's world, and I think that builds trust. Show you are listening. Do's: nod encouragingly, lean in. Don'ts: nod encouragingly, lean in. It's the same, but it makes sense. In 1957, two American psychologists, Carl Rogers and Richard Farson, coined the term active listening in a paper of the same name. Perhaps it's debatable whether adding the word active is simply redundant. After all, if active listening is a particular kind of listening, then by definition there is another kind called passive listening. And is that really listening if you are talking with someone? Nevertheless, the phrase has endured for more than 70 years as a popular shorthand for the idea that you can and should make an extra effort to show people that you are listening to them, rather than just sitting quietly. And that happens with body language, whether you are leaning closer or tilting your head or arching an eyebrow at the right moment. All these signals help show the other person that you are listening to them. Use body language. Showing that you are listening is not a natural impulse for everybody. Lisa Gersh, the former CEO of Goop.com, and Alexander Wang shared a memorable story of how she learned the power of the nod. She had spent her early career as a lawyer and had to completely change her listening approach when she joined Oxygen Media in its early days as a startup. As a lawyer for many years before that, I was not known as a creative person, she said in our interview. When you are in a legal or business meeting, you don't egg people on. You pretend like you don't care. It's almost like buying a house. You sit with your arms crossed and you pretend like you are not excited. And it could be the greatest idea in the world, but you don't want to show your hand. But a creative meeting is different, she added. If someone's coming in with their creative idea, they are being their creative soul. And if you sit there with your arms crossed and you don't say anything, they are really not going to give it to you. My partner at Oxygen took me to every meeting early on because I didn't know anything about the business. At one point I said to her, "You never take me to the creative meetings. Why not?" She said, "Because you sit with your arms folded across your chest, and it's not good for creative meetings. You have to learn the nod." I said, "What is the nod?" "And the nod is when you lean in and you nod your head and you keep nodding your head when someone is pitching an idea. That way they get more and more excited about the pitch and they give you their best work." The lesson: use body language to add energy to the conversation. Even if you are listening intently, you have to show people you are listening. Listen to learn. Do's: ask open-ended questions. Be interested. Learn one thing from everyone. Don'ts: have the same conversation again and again. Perhaps you have heard the saying, "It's better to be interested than interesting." That idea can seem downright contrarian in this era of selfies and social media posts about all the fascinating things we are doing in our lives, and that we assume other people will want to know about. But why not think about listening as a ticket to a free education? All you have to do is assume that everyone you meet has learned a thing or two in their lives, and that you can unearth those insights with a combination of genuine interest and some open-ended questions. Some options: what surprised you about that? What has been the biggest memo to self moment? Why did that interest you? What did you like most about that? Here's another way to think about it. What if your everyday life were a podcast and your job was to interview people? Learn from everyone. Narinder Singh, who has worked in many technology companies and was a co-founder of the tech firm Aperio, started adopting this idea that he can learn something from everybody early in his career. When he was part of a rapidly growing company and he had to interview up to 10 job candidates a day. Almost as a defense mechanism, I started trying to learn something from each person, because otherwise having these same conversation was going to drive me crazy, he said. Then I started applying that to every person I met, and I tried to live by this every day. When you meet somebody, pull every piece of insight you can out of them. A never-ending learning curve. If you are ambitious, this approach of learning from everyone you meet is more of a need to have rather than nice to have. Reid Hoffman, the billionaire venture capitalist and co-founder of LinkedIn, who made prescient early bets on companies like Airbnb and Facebook, said that the most important quality he looks for in aspiring entrepreneurs is an infinite learning curve. Most of the time, the business that I'm investing in are breaking new ground and creating a new area, Mr. Hoffman told me in an interview. You have to have sense of, how am I going to learn a new area? So I am looking for an ability to be learning constantly and fast. If you show interest and energy, people will respond and share what they know and how they learned it. It's a fast and free education, plus you'll build relationships. That may seem like a statement of the obvious, but surprisingly few people act on it.